أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. كافها يا عين صاد. ذكر رحمة ربك عبده زكريا إذ نادى ربه نداء خفيا إذ نادى ربه نداء خفيا قال رب إني وهن العظم مني واشتعل الرأس شيبا ولم أكن بدعائك رب شقيا وإني خفت الموالي من ورائي وكانت امرأتي عاقرا فهب لي من لدنك وليا يرثني ويرث من آل يعقوب واجعله رب رضيا يا زكريا إنا نبشرك بغلام اسمه يحيى لم نجعل له من قبل سميا قال رب أنى يكون لي غلام وكانت امرأتي عاقرا وقد بلغت من الكبر عتيا قال كذلك قال ربك هو علي هين وقد خلقتك من قبل ولم تك شيئا قال رب اجعل لي آية قال آيتك ألا تكلم الناس 3 ليال سويا فخرج على قومه من المحراب فأوحى إليهم أن سبحوا بكرة وعشيا يا يحيى خذ الكتاب بقوة وآتيناه الحكم صبيا وحنانا من لدنا وزكاة وكان تقيا وبرا بوالديه ولم يكن جبارا عصيا وسلام عليه يوم ولد ويوم يموت ويوم يبعث حيا واذكر في الكتاب مريم إذ انتبذت من أهلها مكانا شرقيا فاتخذت من دونهم حجابا فأرسلنا إليها روحنا فتمثل لها بشرا سويا قالت إني أعوذ بالرحمن منك إن كنت تقيا قال إنما أنا رسول ربك لأهب لك غلاما زكيا قالت أنى يكون لي غلام ولم يمسسني بشر ولم أك بغيا قال كذلك قال ربك هو علي هين ولنجعله آية للناس ورحمة منا وكان أمرا مقضيا فحملته فانتبذت به مكانا قصيا فأجاءها المخاض إلى جذع النخلة قالت يا ليتني مت قبل هذا وكنت نسيا منسيا فناداها من تحتها ألا تحزني قد جعل ربك تحتك سريا وهزي إليك بجذع النخلة تساقط عليك رطبا جنيا فكلي واشربي وقضي عينا فإما ترين من البشر أحدا فقولي إني نذرت للرحمن صوما فلن أكلم اليوم إنسيا فقولي إني نذرت للرحمن صوما فلن أكلم اليوم إنسيا فأتت به قومها تحمله قالوا يا مريم لقد جئت شيئا فريا يا أخت هارون ما كان أبوك امرأ سوء وما كانت أمك بغيا فأشارت إليه قالوا كيف نكلم من كان في المهد صبيا قال إني عبد الله آتاني الكتاب وجعلني نبيا وجعلني مباركا أينما كنت وأوصاني بالصلاة والزكاة ما دمت حيا وبرا بوالدتي ولم يجعلني جبارا شقيا والسلام علي يوم ولدت ويوم أموت ويوم أبعث حيا ذلك عيسى ابن مريم قول الحق الذي فيه يمترون ما كان لله أن يتخذ من ولد سبحانه إذا قضى أمرا فإنما يقول له كن فيكون وإن الله ربي وربكم فاعبدوه هذا صراط مستقيم فاختلف الأحزاب من بينهم فويل للذين كفروا من مشهد يوم عظيم أسمع بهم وأبصر يوم يأتوننا لكن الظالمون اليوم في ضلال مبين وأنذرهم يوم الحسرة إذ قضي الأمر وهم في غفلة وهم لا يؤمنون إنا نحن نرث الأرض ومن عليها وإلينا يرجعون واذكر في الكتاب إبراهيم إنه كان صديقا نبيا إذ قال لأبيه يا أبت لم تعبد ما لا يسمع ولا يبصر ولا يغني عنك شيئا يا أبت إني قد جاءني من العلم ما لم يأتك يا أبت إني قد جاءني من العلم ما لم يأتك فاتبعني أهدك صراطا سويا يا أبت لا تعبد الشيطان إن الشيطان كان للرحمن عصيا يا أبت إني أخاف أن يمسك عذاب من الرحمن فتكون للشيطان وليا قال أراغب أنت عن آلهتي يا إبراهيم لئن لم تنته لأرجمنك واهجرني مليا قال سلام عليك سأستغفر لك ربي إنه كان بي حفيا وأعتزلكم وما تدعون من دون الله وأدعو ربي عسى ألا أكون بدعاء ربي شقيا فلما اعتزلهم وما يعبدون من دون الله وهبنا له إسحاق ويعقوب وكلا جعلنا نبيا ووهبنا لهم من رحمتنا وجعلنا لهم لسان صدق عليا. We are still in the family module, and we've covered marriage, and now we'll be covering, inshallah ta'ala, unit 3, children, or in other words, parenthood. And the way these classes or this course is set up is that we're going to take mindsets, and from each mindset we will take a couple of action points, inshallah ta'ala. So the first mindset: family equals joy always. Paternal care and love equals mental stability always. So this is something guaranteed. It's a fact. So if you're looking for love, care, attention, joy, happiness, delights, it is first and foremost found in family. Trust, bond, connection, all of that is found in family first and foremost. And this is to do with the creation of us being creation, number one, and number two, us being humans. So this reality manifests even with non-Muslims. Parental care and love equals to mental stability always. Again, this is something guaranteed. Again, it's fact. So anyone you find that they are angry, they are moody, they are frustrated, they are raging, right? It will boil down to they did not receive the attention and love and care they ought to have had from their families and loved ones, especially the parents. Or you find them the other way, that they are seeking attention and love and care from others beyond the boundaries. So they're very sensitive, they get upset very quickly, they take things to the heart very quickly, they want your attention more, and it can go beyond the boundary. Also, they trust you more, and again, that can go beyond the boundaries. If this is the case, then again, this can be negative, but it's not worse as the first one. There's another one, clinging. They can also cling on, and it can become then. This can happen with the woman more, clinging, and they can become obsessive with the husband, and possessive. And the first one tends to happen more with the men, and second one tends to happen more with the woman. Or you can say the first one tends to have more to those who are strong-minded and assertive, and the second one tends to happen to people who are more soft. So family joy is crucial. family bonding is crucial. Family happiness is crucial to the emotional strength of a human being and this mental stability of a human being. Now, is it always the case if they don't have that they are unstable? Not necessarily. If they are Muslim. If they are Muslim. That is because, yes, they may feel here and there be emotionally rage. They may feel rage and anger and frustration and moodiness and so forth and so on. They may feel unstable here and there, but because they have belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they can channel their emotions towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They can also channel their instability towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then they can receive the empowerment that they are in need of. And that's why you find with Ibrahim alayhi salam, and that's why you find with Yusuf alayhi salam, and that's why you find with also Nuh alayhi salam, and other examples of other prophets and other righteous people before us and also around us who may not have had the attention and love and care from their either both parents or one of the parent or the siblings or the uncles and aunties or the grandparents or the spouses. So having this mindset, you will then focus with your children of making the house joyful for them. And you will make sure that they are stable. And as I said in the marriage class, that between the husband and wife, one has to be the leader. And Allah Jalla wa Ala biologically, emotionally, mentally, and physically made the man the leader. Made the man the leader of the house. This stabilizes the structure and the dynamics of the house, and also this stabilizes any solving of the problem. Any problem emotionally arises, any other problems that arises in the house, there's a structure where it can be solved. But if that structure isn't there, the man is the leader of the house, then even if there is small problem, because that structure isn't there, it doesn't get resolved, and then slowly it needs to be resolved from the outside people, and eventually even the outside people can't solve it, and then the house breaks apart. That's why that structure is so vital after the emotional love that they receive from their parents. That structure of leadership is so vital in the household because it solves problems. There's a mechanism and there's a process to solve problems. It also keeps the biological structure intact and also keeps the roles intact. It also keeps the duties and responsibilities intact. Roles intact, biological roles intact, and then contract roles intact, and then duties and responsibilities. Okay. Have then action points here. Have children as early as possible unless there is a medical reason. That should be the original ruling between husband and wife. They should have children as early as possible unless there is a medical reason. If they are young, like they're in the early 20s, then they can have some time for themselves if they want to, before they have children. Like 6 months to a year to 2 years. However, I do not recommend more than 2 years. I do not recommend more than 2 years for you to have your own time, because this is when eventually Shaitan comes and starts playing his tricks. So the original ruling is have children as soon as possible, because you'll have time to yourselves anyway. However, if you're young, when I mean young, I mean early 20s, so beneath 26. Beneath 26, both of you then spend time maximum 2 years. Above 26, I'll say have children as quickly as possible, because the actual space of having children, I saw some said that I love the ummah to have lots of children. The space is very, very short. Yeah, the space is very, very short. As soon as sisters reach 30s, the space is very, very short for you to have a big family.
Does it apply more to sisters?
Huh?
This age thing, does it apply more to sisters than brothers?
Well, it's obvious. Okay, so when the wife is, so that's the first point. Okay. As you can see in the world, the trend is to have now 3 children maximum. That's the trend nowadays. However, this goes against the wish of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So as said, "Inni mukathiru bikum yawm al-qiyamati. Tazawwaju al-wadud al-walud fa inni mukathirun bikum yawm al-qiyamah." So as said, marry women who can have lots of children. Marry women who can have lots of children. And they are loving women. Marry women who are affectionate. Express their affection. Don't marry hard and stone cold heart. Marry loving women, those who express love and attention and care. Yeah. فَإِنِّي مُكَاثِرٌ بِكُمْ, for I will boast front of the other prophets regarding the numbers of my ummah. So this goes against the wish of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Yeah. And this is the easiest wish for us to fulfill. This is the easiest wish of Sallallahu that we can fulfill, by which he will not only be proud, but he'll be proud in front of all the other prophets. Well, he will not be only proud, but he'll be proud in front of other prophets that look how huge my ummah is. Yeah? And think like this. Every child who you facilitate to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yeah, that is another creation you're bringing in to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahu Akbar. I mean, what greater reason is there than that, to bring someone in, bring a creation in this life, whom they become the worshippers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah? So have that mindset. Don't worry about how you look at your appearance and your all of those things. This shouldn't be your primary concern. As long as you keep yourself fit and you do all the necessary exercises, inshallah, you will keep your appearances intact. Okay. Second action point: when the wife is expecting, the husband should help out more and take when things are When the wife is expecting, the husband should help out more and take when things are thrown at him. That could be better worded, i.e., whatever is thrown at him, he should take it. Yeah. So she may go on to, proper shouting mood. You take it. You take all of that. Here, I should point out that brothers ought to learn cooking. Brothers ought to learn cooking, not necessarily to cook, but when there's a need, you ought to cook nice food for your wife, just like she cooks nice food for yourself. Yeah. Also, when you get married, ask her what she likes, what type of food she likes. Yeah. And then learn to cook those type of food the way she likes it. That way, when she is ill or when she is unable to get up from bed or when she's taking a break, right, you can cook for her and feed her, inshallah ta'ala. So, sisters, I don't always say for the men to cook. Sorry, I don't always say for women to cook. I do say for the men to learn how to cook. Yeah, so they always, some sisters might say, I always talk about sisters learning how to cook and stuff like this. But I also say brothers ought to learn how to cook when for the rainy days or for the difficult days. Yeah, or when there's a need. Uh, Now, in some of our cultures, in our houses, in our homes, even when she's expecting, the culture expects her to still to cook, to clean, to do hoovering and tidying. No, this goes against the principles of Islam. This is where the culture is wrong. This is where the culture is wrong, and that is you're overburdening someone. You're overburdening someone beyond what they can bear. So if she is genuinely ill, then everyone in the house ought to understand and help her out. During labor, ensure that only female doctors and nurses are present. This is something brothers who are getting married or sisters who are getting married for the first time and they're not aware of these matters, they really get confused. So seek advice from your friends, from your people you're close to, where to find the best female doctors. Is it better for you to go to private hospital and clinic, or is it better for you to go to NHS? Seek advice, but obviously the main advice is make sure the nurses and doctors are female, even if it means you pay extra for the costs. Pay extra, because a lot of sisters have said this. Obviously, in Islamically, that it shouldn't be the case that the men are there in the first place. But a lot of sisters have said to me that when they see a man other than the husband in that place, right, they feel not only humiliated, but they feel, um, they use a word, they feel, I forgot the word they used. All of the sisters use that same word. That's it. They feel violated. They feel violated. Okay, so make sure, but brothers, the immature brothers, they make this mistake. I know so many sisters have complained to me about their husbands on this issue. They say like they don't do the research beforehand, and they take me to, and then the men are there and there's nothing I can do because I'm in that situation, and the husband, he just looks stunned, like he doesn't know what to do as well. So make sure you do your research, and then I'll advise you to take our sisters to private clinics, so where there are only female nurses and doctors. Spend quality time with children together and give them lots of hugs and kisses. This is fundamental. This is fundamental until the age of 7, 8, 9. And when it comes to girls, if they mature, then still hug them and kiss them, but you can do a bit more less maybe, but that shouldn't stop from the parents. Hugging and kissing shouldn't stop at all throughout the life of a child. Doesn't matter how old they are, that shouldn't stop. In our culture, we stop it. In our culture, we stop hugging and kisses. As soon as we reach like 7, 8, maybe a bit more older, we stop. That shouldn't be the case. It should continue all the way until your parents pass away. Hugs and kisses. This is one of the main reasons the hugs and kisses why some of the children of the Sahaba were so strong emotionally and mentally. The most famous strength of that young Sahabi was Abdullah ibn Zubair radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Also Hassan and Hussein radiallahu ta'ala anhuma. So Prophet ﷺ is to constantly hug them and kiss them, and they used to constantly play with Sallallahu and all the children when they used to be brought to Sallallahu the first thing he used to do is give them the date that he used to bite onto, and then is to give them for the barakah, and then he would hug them and then he would kiss them, and then he will always whenever the Sahaba had chances to bring the kids, some of them used to wee on him, he used to sprinkle water. All of this is to give them the emotional strength and the mental stability. So Islam used to kiss so much that the Arabi, the people who used to come from the desert, they used to say to Sallallahu, they used to be amazed that Sallallahu used to roll around with their children and kiss so much, right? Publicly. He used to do it not privately, publicly. He used to do it publicly. He used to kiss children so much that the Arabi asked, like, this is so strange, what are you doing? And Sallallahu said, if Allah has taken the mercy out of your heart, then what can we do? Yeah. So if there are barriers, then the parents ought to break the barriers. If there are barriers, then the parents ought to break the barriers when they are growing up, to hug them and kiss them. Also, wiping their back when you're talking to them, wiping their heads when you're talking to them, wiping their face when they're crying, wiping the eyes. You wipe the eyes, you wipe the tears like this, you wipe it off from them. Yeah, you tap their chest, you calm them down like this. All of these things has a physical connection with you that they will never ever forget. They will always remember. Sadly, our times, all we can remember is beatings from our parents, from our mess ups, from our teachers, and from our parents. All we can remember is beatings with sticks. Yeah, this leaves the children with scars, mental and emotional scars. Okay, and the good thing is, if you hug and kiss them and emotionally give them that inner emotional contentment and psychological stability, then the way to discipline them afterwards, it's not through striking. It's by simply by not hugging them. It's by simply by not kissing them. It's simply by not giving them the attention. That will kill them. Because if you have to always hug them and kiss them and tap them and give them attention and express that love and care and playfulness, and then they did something very bad or very wrong, and you're not disciplining them, the easy way to discipline them is stop hugging them for that moment, stop kissing them for that moment. Yeah, stop showing that attention for that moment, and that will suffice. You have to have a quality day and time to spend with children. If you're very busy, give one day to your, not to your wife or to your husband. Give one day to your children. There has to be a day where you give to your children. There's a culture, even amongst nowadays students of knowledge or leaders and scholars, that my students, the tarbiyah will be given by the teachers around me or the brothers and sisters around me. Yes, a lot of tarbiyah can be given by people around you. There's no doubt about it. But there has to be a tarbiyah and disciplining, emotional care and love and attention given by you as a parent, as a father and as a mother in the house. You can't simply rely on your people around you, because they sooner or later will become distant from you. Then they will misunderstand your intentions. They will misjudge your process of thoughts, because the communication will break up. So it doesn't matter how sincere you are, doesn't matter how honest you are, doesn't matter how pure you are. And the worst thing is, people outside will have more affection and love for you and admiration, and you will express more love and affection expression-wise more to the people outside you, but the people inside you, they will not be receiving your love and attention and expression of care and sympathy and empathy, even understanding, even the communication, they will not receive it from you, and that would be detrimental for your children's future. And if they become leaders of the society, then they will not be able to know how to communicate with people whom they are close with. Yeah. And I think some of the brothers, personally, regarding myself, they say that I've got so much care and love for people, but I can't express it. Yeah. So these are the consequences of the upbringing, that if you have, then you'll not be able to do the same thing in the society. So that's why the close people need to express the love and care and attention, so that you can then express the same care and love to the people whom you are close to, or whom are close to you in the society. Next action point: as a child is growing, let them bond with their families as much as possible. The grandparents, uncles, and aunties, especially from the father's side. As the child is growing, let them bond with their families as much as possible. The grandparents, uncles, and aunties. Grandparents are key from both sides. Grandparents are key. But most importantly, the father's side. Because the lineage, the bloodline is from the father's side. So they have to feel that empowerment from the father's side. The daughter has to feel, my uncle is there, my grandfather is there, My tribe is there. The daughter has to feel that. When she goes out in the society, she has to feel her tribe is with her. The son has to feel that. One of the main reasons why we feel inferior is simply because, first and foremost, we have forgotten our tribe. Yeah, and second, we don't have a nation. One of the reasons some of our enemies feel superior, firstly, because they have a tribe, and secondly, they have a nation. They have a nation that fights for them, and they have a nation that they fight for. So when they go out, they don't feel they're going out as an individual. They feel they're going out as a nation. That's why when a white person walks in the streets, as you can see, that when they walk, they don't feel threatened because they know they have a system that protects them. They have a system they can call. So when they walk with the nation behind them. Yeah? This is dying nowadays, but it has to be revived. If it's not revived, the consequence is so severe. The consequence is so severe. For example, why the percentage of migrants in prison, why is it high? Yes, the system is against them, but there's a proportion is high. One of the main reasons is high because this is not being implemented. This is not being implemented. If those who have migrated in these lands, if we had close ties with our father's side, this country and back home, wherever we are from, then we would not be committing those crimes out of shame and out of name. For your name of your tribe, you would not commit it, and out of shame also. For example, our parents and their parents, they had more of a reason to commit crime to earn money. صح? They had more of a reason to commit crime to earn money. However, they committed less crime if maybe they didn't even commit any crime. Why? What was the main reason? Huh? Name and shame. The main reason was name and shame. Name of the family and tribe. Shame of the family and tribe. That's the main reason. They were working harder than us. They were being treated more bad than us. But they did not commit crime. Okay. Next mindset. Let me give you a warning as well here. Anyone who stops their children from seeing their grandparents or seeing their aunties and uncles, even if they are having a feud with them, the consequences will be so severe on your children. Because there's only so much emotional care and love and attention you as parents can give. There's other love they need to feel. The love of the grandparents, which is unconditional, without any discipline. The love of uncles and aunties, which is again unconditional, without any discipline. As for the parents' love, it has to be conditional with discipline. So even though you have the unconditional love as parents, you can't express that because you have to discipline your children. Otherwise you'll spoil them. So the only way you can express that side of unconditional love is through your parents and your siblings. You take that away from them, then you're actually suffocating them. Emotionally, psychologically, and mentally. people who are spoiled, they may become arrogant, they may become stubborn, they may be ego-centered, self-centered, but they don't become ruthless and merciless. Yeah, people who are spoiled and they've given all the love is given to them, attention is given to them, and so forth and so on. They become arrogant, they become stubborn, they become individualistic, they become self-centered, right? But they don't necessarily become ruthless and merciless. They have a soft heart, they have a soft spot. But the ones who become ruthless and merciless and careless, they don't care, they become cold-blooded, they have cold-blooded hearts, yeah? They are the ones who do not receive unconditional love. And unconditional love, they can only receive it from grandparents, uncles, and aunties. One of the key reasons why dictators become dictators or are dictators is because their parents were dictators towards them. Yeah, and people around them also feared them. I feared their parents. And so this poor child didn't receive love and attention. He may have received all the material items, but he did not receive the love, and he or she did not receive the love and attention from the parents. And also he or she did not receive the love and attention from his uncles and aunties and grandparents and so forth and so on. And thereby he becomes ruthless, merciless. There is no care, there is no ounce of care in that person. Now, you may think your parents are showing you enough love, and that your children do not need love. You as parents are showing enough love to your children. Your children do not need love of uncles and aunties and grandparents. You may think that. Know this: the heart is like an ocean. The heart is like an ocean. Every emotion in the ocean, yeah, of the heart has a boundary. Every emotion in the heart has a boundary, except the emotion of receiving love and care and protectiveness. The more deeper that love and emotion is within the heart of the individual, because of what he received from people, yeah, the more high and loftier and the vast will be the waves. The waves is like what he produces, what he or she produces. It's like the ocean. The heart is like the ocean. Every emotion has a boundary. There's only so much they can receive. There's only so much they can take, except love and care and protectiveness and attention. Those are the key ones. Yeah, there's a few more, but these are the key ones. The more they receive, the more they expand on their love, on their care. and on the empathy, and on the sympathy, and the more they expand, the more it grows, the more vast. Yeah, and the more this happens within them, the more they can give to the society and to the family and relatives. If I was to ask people, that person might say to himself or herself, I'm very soft, I'm very loving. If I was to ask, actually, how many people do you express your love towards? The number will be very few. The number will not be even above 10. And if I was to say, okay, put that emotion of 10 people you should express, put that emotional feeling like an ocean in your heart. How deep will that be, ocean? How vast will that ocean of love be? I don't think it'll be a pond in the garden. I don't think it will be a pond in the garden. So now, if it's not a pond in the garden, and then you have position and you have authority and you have power, we're going to do with that pond of love in your heart. We're going to do with it. It's going to dry out sooner or later, and then you're going to be ruthless, and you're going to be merciless. And that's what's happening to the society. Another parable you can give, there's only so big pond you can have in your own garden. You need few other gardens or mansions or palaces, yeah, where other people live, right, together. Your family, your greater family, your outer family, and the pond is huge. Yeah, just like that, this is what your children need, so that the pond of love inside their hearts is vast and it's huge. That's why I always say, those people who don't have that, they have love or softness which is relative. It's based around, centered around who they know, who they are connected with, how much that person receives. Okay, let me give you an example. When you see a person for the first time, how much love do you express towards that individual? Usually the case is, until they express love, you don't express it. The usual case is, unless they show unless and until they show kindness, only then do you start showing what? Kindness. Yeah. So firstly, that's relative. Secondly, you're self-centered. Now, if everyone does that, usually everyone does that, except very, very few people, yeah, what does that show? That shows our heart of care and love. It's not, first, it's relative. Secondly, it's self-centered. It's individualistic. Yeah. So the only few people you find who genuinely express love, they initiate care, they initiate attention, they genuinely want to know how you are and where you're from, and you feel that genuine trust and love from them. That is because they genuinely love and care. It's not relative. They have a genuine character. Obviously, that character, they either got it from the outer relatives, grandparents, uncles, aunties, yeah, so it naturally, it was second nature within them, or they proactively worked on it in order for them to love people and love humanity. Clear? So brothers and sisters, please kindly do not stop your children from seeing your siblings and your your parents, even if you have feuds with them. Do not stop your children. Worst of all, if you have feuds with them and the children see the feuds then last, doesn't die. It gets worse and worse the next generation. And this obviously in the long run, and the bigger picture, it unites the ummah. Okay, let's move on. Mine said, our house is the world. It's a masjid, a library, a skill center, a playground. This is something you have to proactively make your house into for your children. Your children, when they grow, their house has to be the whole world. Their house has to represent the whole world. If the house does not represent the whole world, sadly, then the world will eventually teach them the hard way. The world will teach them the hard way. The house has to be is home. It also has to be a masjid. It also has to be a library. It also has to be a skill learning center where you learn the skills. It also has to be a playground. All of these four matters: a masjid, a library, a skill center, and a playground has to be in the house. If it's not in the house, then this child will, one way or the other, emotionally, psychologically, mentally, physically, will be underdeveloped. Will be underdeveloped. If you have small rooms or you have lack of space, then create the timings. And if you have enough space, then create the rooms for these specific homes. So there's a room for you to all pray salah together. There's a room for you to study. There's a room for you to play a snooker table or a pool table, or table tennis table. And there's a room for you to mess around with different skills, like a garage or something like that. Yeah? So if you have a big mansion, make a specific room for these four. If you don't have a big mansion, like most of us don't, then have times for these four matters. I personally believe if any house has these four matters within a routine, there's a routine, and there's a routine for these four matters, I personally believe this individual family will become a very empowered family. They will feel superior within the house, and they will feel superior outside the house. Nothing or nobody can belittle them or dishonor them or ruin their izzah. If you just have a masjid without a library, it will be problematic. If you just have a masjid and library without the skill center, it will be problematic. If you just have the masjid and library and skill center without the playground, it will also be problematic. These four are essential development for yourself and your children. They are essential. Action points: build a family home with voluntary deeds, salah and siyam, and daily recitations. This has to go without missing. This has to be something daily. If they grow adults, it's more emphasized. I haven't seen a house who genuinely prays salah together, who fast together, and who recite the Quran together, and who go through like the other Salihin together as a family once a week, right? They go through the Salihin, for example. I haven't seen that family break apart. I haven't seen this family break apart. Build a family home with ethics, morals, principles, and productivity. So this goes in line with having a library, having a skill center. You know, but their first role model is the parents. So from me, they need to see morality. From me, they need to see ethics. From me, they need to see principles. From me, they need to see obedience. And from you, they need to also see productivity. If they see you disobeying your father, they will see that, they'll observe it, how you disobey your father. If they see you disobeying your mother or disrespecting your mother, they'll see, they'll observe that. If they see their wife disobeying the husband, then khalas, they will have no respect for their father anymore. Build a family home with salams, consultations, ownership, and permissions. Build a family home with salams, consultations, ownerships, and permissions. So, example, if they have a separate room, even the parents should knock before they enter. They should be consulted if it's a matter to do with them, or if it's a long-term issue that will impact them directly or affect them, they ought to be consulted. If you give them a task, then let them own it. Don't judge them, and don't keep half to yourself and give half to them. If you give them a task, let them make mistakes and learn it. Learn from those mistakes. Salams, obviously, the junior should give salams to the senior. Yeah? The junior should give salam to the senior, but that can be trained by the mother giving salam to the father. Yeah? Or when the father enters the house, he can give salam to everyone. So this is how they can train to give salam to one another. What is the first thing what is the first thing the shaitan takes away from communication? Salam. That's the first thing shaitan takes away from the communication. Now, if you've taken salam away from the communication, what else is there will be left in that communication? Yeah. How many Muslim families they say salam to one another? It's hi and hello. They say something. What do they say? Hi, hello, balani. Yeah. Aap kaise hain? There's no salam. And salam is like a burden. For you to utter the salam, it's like a burden. And even when we say the salam, we don't say the salam properly. We miss the lam. Even Sallallahu made it very clear how our enemies say the salam. And they say the salam without the lam. And we, when we say the salam, we say without the lam. Yeah. Again, I haven't seen any family that says salam beginning of the communication and they leave the communication with the salam. I haven't seen that family break down. Next action, build a family home with love of reading, studying, ingenuity, creativity, and innovation. This is key. Yeah, you give books, you talk about books, people fall asleep. You just say the book and class, people they switch off. As if learning and growing and developing is against Islam. Somehow is against Islam. Yesterday when we were going through the book club, we all agreed, all of us who were in that book club yesterday reading books, we all agreed that one of the reasons how quickly the West has grown to this level of expertise is simply because they want to be experts in everything. And obviously they cannot be experts in everything unless they have the urge and that they have that discipline and they have the desire for reading and learning. So this is unexcusable, my brothers and sisters. We cannot justify in any way not reading and not wanting to read. So many of us have so many books, but how many of us have read any of these books? Until unless we learn to love to read, we'll not love to learn. Until unless we learn to love to read, we will not love to learn. And only when we begin to love to learn, we love to grow, we love to develop. And only then will we break our shyness, which is not really shyness, it's actually deception, and our ego when it comes to learning. It goes against logic and rational. It goes against logic and rational that you are stopping yourself from learning things that are going to be beneficial to you. Sah? You are justifying yourself not learning, even though you know this, if I learn this, if I read this, it will benefit me. But you are justifying it yourself to not learn. Yeah? It goes all logic and all rational. Don't stop yourself from stop there. Go beyond that. It's going to studying. So take courses. Yeah, take courses. If you can't do it alone, do it together. Especially when you're adult. If you can't do it alone, do it together. Do it as a family. Do it as a couple. Then go beyond that. Go into ingenuity and creativity. Make things, innovate things, invent things. And one of the best ways to get the children into reading is obviously a library, obviously you reading. You have a time to read to them, you have a time to read to yourself, and then you generally making things for them, you generally giving them tasks to make things. And then, which is I personally think is the most important vital thing for you to make that big leap, is to take them to factories. Is take them to factories where they can actually see how things are being made with their own eyes. So how is a helicopter made? How is an aeroplane made? Yeah. How is a fighter jet made? How is a car made? Yeah. How are houses built and made? Yeah. How are whatever they like. Try to take them to those factories, and obviously these factories usually have opening days. Yeah. Take them. Spending money for you to go and take them to these places, I call it investment. And I call it, for the parents, I personally think it's the greatest investment you can make if you honestly want an empowering child. A child who does not rely on others, rather he or she relies on herself or himself. A child who does not rely on the world, rather the world relies on him or her. Because this child, sooner or later, will make the sources into resources. Will make the sources into resources. The mind isn't there simply to take things in. The mind is there to take things in and then create something in the mind and then produce it. The mind is not there to simply take things in. The mind is there for it to take it in, create something inside in the mind, and then produce it. I can guarantee you, if we take our children to factories, like for example A to Z. Where does cotton come from? Where does silk come from? Where does the ceramic come from? The plates that we eat from, yeah, the plastic cups, the where do they come from? If you take them to that actual place, yeah, and then how it's then processed and how it's made, and then the end journey, and then eventually comes to the shop. You show them the A to Z, the process, not in a video YouTube. You actually take them to the factories or you take them to that place and you show the whole process, even if it means 1 week of traveling. You do that, I can guarantee you this child sooner or later will start producing stuff. I can guarantee you. One of the main reasons why the West and the East they produce is because they cultivate their children to actually go to those factories rather to go to and see the A to Z process. And that's why their children they begin to produce. The Singapore, one of the reasons the Singaporeans and the Japanese, the whole within 3 decades they able to become the country they became is because they took their children to see the sources of matters in order to produce the resources. One of the things the enemy has done today is so that what they have done is intentionally with the system and a process, they've made sure that whoever they don't want to become independent or they don't want to become resourceful, they made sure that the A to Z from source to resource, they've cut you off from it. So they've made sure you do not know where this A comes from, nor or how it's grown or how it's produced, right? And thereby you do not know at all how Z eventually comes to you. So they have the monopoly of the resource and the source. And as long as a nation doesn't know its sources and resources, then others will always have monopoly over the land, the assets, the employment, the income, and even the economy. That's why you find those people who live in the cities, the middle class and the elite, they always take their children, they have holiday homes, and they always take their children to lands which are open, which produce fruits and vegetations and farmyards and so forth. So they see the resources, and eventually they also take them to factories. And then they also travel the world and they show them how things are produced. Where does cotton come from? Where does peanuts come from? Where does potatoes come from? Where does strawberry come from? Where does plastic come from? Yeah, all of these things they show. By the age of 13, 14, this child is able to produce things. This child is able to produce things. And the minimum, if he or she does not produce, the minimum is he or she does not feel inferior to the world out there. He or she does not feel inferior to the world out there because he or she knows the A to Z of the world, the sources and the resources. If I had the authority to design a curriculum for children, one of the first legislation I would have done is soon as the child reaches the age of 4, start taking them to factories of everything that is produced for the household. From bricks to all the way to mattresses. From the age of 4 until all the way to the age of 13 or 14, and then take them to the stuff that's made outside the house, to factories that are made outside the house. So things that you find outside the house, for example, the cables outside, the lightning outside. Where's the switch? Who has that switch? Who turns it on? Who turns it off? Is it automatic? Yeah. The water, the pipes, the sewage system, all of that. The traffic lights, the cameras, yeah, the internet. Soon as they know those things, then they will feel empowered. And it's all about seeing, not necessarily knowing. Knowing will only take you so far if the eye doesn't see and the brain doesn't have a creative enlightening inside them by what they see. The last point on this section is build the family home with handiwork. Someone has to be handiwork in the family. It ought to be the father, but sometimes the father is like myself, who doesn't know anything. Yeah, so it could be the wife, mashallah, who's there, who's able to do that, all the creative thing and all the even the little of the hard work of the house. Yeah, but someone has to be the DIY person in the house. Obviously, it ought to be the father. It ought to be the man. And if you have sons, then you should push them to fix things in the house by themselves. Yeah, fix things in the house by themselves. So if the sink gets blocked, they should be able to find a way to know the basics of plumbing. If the toilet gets blocked, same thing. Yeah. If the light goes, yeah, changing the light bulbs, stuff like that, you should teach them as soon as they reach a bit of maturity how to switch off the main switch and then turn on, put the bulb on and then turn the lights and so forth and so on. Yeah. Involve them in the DIY. So the color of the room, the color of the carpets, wooden floor or carpets, all of these things, involve them, consult them, take their ideas, especially in their room, how they want it, do it how they want it. I can remember when I was in madrasa, in one of the rooms, not my room, it's one of my friend's room. Yeah, our madrasa was army barracks. So one of the ceilings, it had these stars. Yeah, daytime you couldn't see the stars. Daytime you couldn't see the stars. At that time, as soon as you turn the light off, they start shining. The whole ceiling starts shining, and as if it feels like you're seeing the sky. It's amazing. I don't know. Maybe brothers would know. I haven't still found it. I haven't even looked for it. But to be honest with you, but the point I'm making is that room. I always wanted to go and stay in that room at that time. Yeah, but those brothers were like, no, get out. You know, this is not your room. Get out. And in the weekends when they used to go home, I used to secretly, you know, obviously I was a bit of naughty guy. Yeah, so when they used to leave for the weekends, I used to stay in madrasa. Yeah. So everyone had their own keys. So so they used to lock it and they used to go. Sometimes what I used to do, I used to put chewing gum on the door. So they couldn't lock it properly. So they used to think they locked it, but they didn't lock it properly. I would just go and just open the doors open. Or sometimes what I would do, the caretaker would have a master key, but I would put chewing gum on his door so that his door doesn't close. And then I used to get the master key from his room to open that door and go in there and sleep in the weekends. Don't do those stuff, yeah? This is when I was a little kid around the age of 13, 14, I was a bit naughty. But yeah, I used to love that room so much. If they hear this recording, they're like, okay, that was the guy who used to come and make all the mess in our room. I don't understand. Yeah, so that room. So make the room creative for them. If they want stars, put stars on the ceiling. If they want spacecraft or whatever they want it, put anything that inspires them and motivates them. That obviously is moral and innovative. Okay, what's the time?
7:40.
Alhamdulillah. We'll stop here for today, inshallah. Barakallahu feekum, taqabbalallahu minna wa minkum salih amal wa assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Any questions? We'll take questions, inshallah.
There. But just to emphasize on Ibrahim, Yusuf, and Noor, you said obviously those are exceptions where, despite not having received that love or that unconditional love, and that's not the end of the world. In the sense
Yeah.
that you can still
Yeah.
develop that through.
Yeah, you can develop that. I cannot. Alhamdulillah, in our culture, the father may tend to leave, whatever reason, but the mother doesn't. She sacrifices her life. So in our culture, we don't have the mother leaving. She stays with the children. She doesn't even get married again. She sacrifices. But in other cultures, I know, like in Mauritania, subhanallah, the father leaves, the mother leaves. Yeah, leaves the children. And there are many cultures like that the father leaves and the mother leaves the children. So these children, they don't receive any love, and they, as research shows, they become criminals of the society. They become the most heartless, ruthless criminals, and some of them even became dictators throughout history. Yeah. Yeah.
So, you were saying those who receive too much unconditional love, they become self-centered, arrogant, stubborn.
Yeah.
Is there a preventative for this, or do we allow it to happen and then solve it afterwards?
No, the parents have to have that balanced love and love and care and protectiveness with discipline. They have to have discipline. Um, Without discipline, there will be no boundary. So you have to have discipline. But the unconditional love which the parents have, that is expressed by the grandparents and the uncles and the aunties. So let them spoil. Let the grandparents spoil your children. Let the uncles and aunties spoil your children from both sides. When it comes to parents, they have to show that love and they have to show that discipline.
Those are some serious diseases like arrogance, stubborn, and in the sense that if they don't, even if they do receive unconditional love, at the minimum, they won't become dictators or ruthless killers, but they will have arrogance, stubbornness,
Self-centeredness.
self-centeredness.
But that gets battered.
Okay, that can be fixed.
That gets battered in the society. How much arrogance can you have when someone batters you? How much stubbornness can you have when someone proper beats you up, palatike, like proper beating? How much self-centered can you be? You lose out. Unless you have exceptional talent, then you can become successful. But if you're self-centered, sooner or later you start losing out. Yeah.
So you mentioned also with parents and how that they shouldn't, once the child gets to a certain age, that they shouldn't stop, hugging and kissing. Obviously, like you mentioned, certain cultures after they reach a certain age, they don't do it.
Yeah.
How would you say you can try and convince parents? So, for example, they're saying, "Oh no, I can't do it." They feel embarrassed. I can't show my.
You hug them.
But let's say you do that. They come to a point where they struggle.
Yeah, you continue.
Continue.
Yeah. You kiss them, you make dua for them. Yeah. One of my consistent du'as is for myself to make wudu for my mother. Like give her the water and make her do wudu. I struggle, obviously. I haven't done it yet, but when I reach that level, that I'm able to do that. So on the constant du'as, I can remember in Mauritania, I broke down. I was saying to one of my colleagues, I felt ill for like 3 days, and that's the first time I felt ill in Mauritania, like such a severe way. And obviously, this was my last 3 months in Mauritania. I was living alone in the outskirts, like with wild cats and with wild dogs. It was that bad. But it was good because I was able to see the moon and finish like some of the chapters of Ibn Kathir with just by the moonlight. So I fell ill. I fell ill very badly. And Sheikh Muhammad Mahfouz used to call me once in the morning and once in the evening to see how I'm doing, because I never missed his class. So that's the only time, for the first time I've ever missed his class. And it was 3 days in a row. And one of my friends came to visit me. He found out I was ill, so he came to visit me. And then I can remember on the last day I broke down to him. And I was saying to him that, subhanAllah, I have so much love for my mother, but I feel I cannot express my love to her because of the way I was brought up. I was brought up from day one, I was always away from my family and my parents. So I was saying, like, I make so much dua to come close to my mom, constantly, consistently. And he said, I will make dua for you from today. And subhanAllah, since I came back from Mauritania, I am able to express much more to my mother than I was able to express before Mauritania. It's a huge change. Like before, I was unable to express even 5% of my love. Now I can express, say, 25%. It's not there where it is. It's not there yet. But at least now I can express 25%. Before it was like 5%. I was like numb. Like it was there, but I couldn't express it. And alhamdulillah, I'm able to express it. So it's also sharing with your friends and your colleagues and your students and your teachers. And I always say, make dua for my mother to everyone. It's one of my main duas. And the main reason I say that to people is so that I can come close to my mother. And not close, I'm close. I'm so close to her, but I want to express that closeness, which I find it so difficult because of the way I was brought up. So I was brought up by being distant from my family and studying and focus on my studies and beatings from my teachers. They made us rough and tough. And also you're staying with boys. And with boys, when you're always with boys, what are you doing always? You're just fighting with one another, and you're also trying to like be outsmart and outwit one another, you know? And this brings out the worst of you, sadly. But alhamdulillah, because of that, I became quite distant when it comes to generally my family and my mother, and particularly. But now I'm slowly being able to express. It's du'as and it's telling people around you. But if I didn't have Islam, and if I didn't have the ilm or that recitation or that journey of traveling, or if I didn't have that, maybe I don't know, I could have been more like, I can be very brothers who know me, they know I can be very assertive and give you very, very silent, cold treatment. It can break a person inside. Now, if I didn't have Islam, subhanAllah, I could have been very, very like harsh and hard against people, even those who are close to me. I could have broken them mentally, and I know in the past I've done it. I've done it to people intentionally. I wanted to break them completely, and I did it. I literally broke them until they came and said, we're sorry, like, you know. And these are grown men. I literally broke them emotionally and mentally because of the way I can be very, very assertive and very hard and very harsh. But alhamdulillah, through Islam and through Iman and Ibadah and Tawheed and all of that, through recitation and all of that, you tend to become softer and softer and softer. Yeah. So the consequences can be very, very severe. If this is me myself, alhamdulillah, I'm known to be very caring. I'm known to be very sharing from day one. I'm known to be very loving. If this is myself talking about my emotions, what about people who don't have that much care, that much love, and that much sharing, and that much care, and so forth? What about how hard their heart can become if they go through beatings, if they go away from their families for years and years? It can become very hard.
Basically, old principle you say, fake it until you make it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
found an effective method is initially when I used to find it hard, I used to do it as a joke, hug them and kiss them, or make the jokes, my beloved father, stuff like this.
Yeah.
Make it as a joke, but then it becomes so loose on the tongue.
Yeah, that's key. That's key. Like my psychology is, if I speak about my mother, if I keep speaking about my mother, if I keep speaking about my mother, then my subconscious will sooner or later has to take it in. That I have to start expressing it. I have to start expressing it. Sometimes I will make du'as. I haven't even reached there, but I will make du'as as if I've reached it, and I'll keep making it because now I have to what? I have to scale it up now. So it's like I'm pulling myself to the higher level, to the better level, I'm forcing myself to reach there. Like I can't say this to other people while I'm not achieving it. So it's like I am putting an anchor forward, so that pulls me towards that. So this is another psychology I use, and it works. It works. Yeah.
Some questions we started on YouTube that they posted. One questioner, he asks a 6-year-old who has temper issues over the smallest things. He asks, hit or speak with them and explain to them with
Yeah.
love.
Never hit children. Never hit children. Especially in this day and age. Not because of the laws. Laws are there, but not because of the laws, but because Islam teaches us that through love you can discipline them. And that principle comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Through His love, He disciplines the Muslims. Through His mercy, He disciplines the Muslims. Yeah? Same with Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Through His love and mercy towards us, He disciplines us. So the greatest discipline comes from love and mercy, and then explaining to them in a deep, profound manner. And they appreciate it. When you explain to them in deep, profound manner, they appreciate it. And then you see them. And maybe you to take them out, take the child out, let him see a destitute children, orphan children, children who are less off, less fortunate. That has a profound impact in a child. Give him more responsibilities, give him more tasks for him to fulfill. Let him feel sense of ownership of his own room or his own bed or his own space of play. Like you can do whatever you like in this play area. It's all yours. You want to tidy up, tidy up. You want to keep it messy, keep it messy. You want to tidy your bed, tidy your bed. You want to keep it messy, keep it messy. Give him ownership. And then he feels responsible.
So it's like, you're saying not to beat them, but then there's the hadith of, does this not apply?
I need this guy to mention it. This guy has to always mention those things.
So that's what somebody mentioned, right?
Huh? The hadith, I did explain that in Khamsun. Can you remember what I said?
Years back, Sheikh.
So
Yeah, you mentioned.
I said, if Sallallahu saying, soon as he reaches 10, so today he reached 10, tell him to pray. He doesn't pray. You gonna hit him? Is that what Sallallahu saying? Okay, and Sallallahu saying that you hit him and he's not praying. You hit him again, he's not working. You hit him more. Sallallahu saying, continue to hit until when? Where do you stop? Until he dies? So what is Sallallahu saying there in the hadith?
You told me, Sheikh.
No, I just broke it up for you. I just broke what you did not think of.
It's only a last.
So now I gave you a context. You took it out of the context of Sallallahu statement. Now I gave you a context. Now what? How do you understand that? Why is Sallallahu saying that?
Probably what Muhammad just said. The final thing. You've tried all avenues.
Okay, you told all avenues and you did that, it didn't work. Then what do you do? That's the problem. Brothers don't think.
They hitting itself is not. I don't know. You said the hitting itself. Is
Forget what I said. Utilize your own aql.
Wasn't the hitting more not necessarily actually like physical harm? It's more like a don't do that. Like I like to show them, okay, look, that you're displeased.
Okay, but it's not working. Then what?
the purpose of the hitting is not for the hitting itself. It's for the purpose of intended to discipline, right?
That's what I said. Yeah. So the main central point of the hadith statement sallallahu is that before that you discipline them without hitting. After this, part of discipline is raising your hands. Is raising your hands. That now is included within your discipline. Before it was what?
No.
It was excluded. Now it's included. But that's not the only option. That is one of the options. And raising the hands, as Kamal says, is symbolic. Symbolic to say, this is me, your father or your mother. Yeah. The only time I will have to raise my hands is when you are disobedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you keep a barrier between you and him when it comes to him not listening to you in any other matters, and you and him when it comes to the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the barrier between me and we can communicate everything. When it comes to this, there is a symbolic sign of me raising your hands, because in the society, if you commit a crime against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or commit a crime which Allah says is a major crime, there is a hudud, there is a punishment. And in the akhirah there is a punishment. And if there is no hudud, if it's a major sin, there's a punishment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly. So it's a symbolic message to the child that this is within the category of punishment.
You see, it also links to like what you said earlier about the hug and kisses. You would hug and kiss a child and then come to a point where they've done something you don't do it, but they're like, oh wow, why am I not receiving it?
Yeah.
You feel left out.
Yeah. Same with the woman. Yeah, your wife. Same is symbolic. Yeah. And then same with, right? Because a man could be hit as well by other men. Yeah. Hudud. So it's same thing. So every individual can be struck. It's not just that, and it's only to, it's symbolic, number one. Number two is to let you know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can what? Punish you. So that is ingrained within you. That if you commit a major crime in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the deen, then there is punishment. It doesn't care if you're young or if you're, as long as you're mature, it doesn't care if you're young or if you're old. You commit a crime, major crime, there's a punishment to it.
So the brother was asking, what if you have shared custody between the parents? So in this case, they're divorced, and the child is being brainwashed by the other parent. All the things that he's been told not to do, the other parent is allowing him to do or encouraging him.
Yeah. If it's true, then you mitigate as much as you can. You mitigate as much as you can, and you try to take him or her to classes, to courses. There's only so much she eventually will learn from two parents who are fighting one another. So that he or she has to now learn from a neutral person. And he or she will take it more from a neutral person rather than the parents, because he or she can tell my parents are fighting one another. We'll stop here inshallah. Hayakum Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.